Kendall Jenner and Jacob Elordi have been surrounded by dating rumors for weeks, but now Kendall is finally starting to address the situation herself. After secret vacations, public sightings, and fans spotting them together everywhere, it looks like the relationship rumors may not be rumors anymore. On May 17, 2026, TMZ published a photograph that sent every celebrity gossip account into a frenzy. Kendall Jenner and Jacob Elordi enjoyed what looked like a very private beach hang in Hawaii over the weekend, according to a photo obtained by TMZ. In the snap, Kendall is seen lounging in a bikini while holding what appears to be a bottle of rosé, as she sits beside Jacob Elordi on the sand. Jacob kept things casual in blue shorts and a green baseball cap, with the two appearing completely focused on each other. The setup looked far more intimate than your typical celebrity beach scene. A surfboard-style table sat in front of them while they relaxed oceanside, and there didn't appear to be anyone else around as the pair enjoyed the quiet tropical setting together. This was not a group outing. This was not a casual bump into at some crowded resort pool. This was a private, secluded, two-person beach date on the Hawaiian Islands, and the photograph made that unmistakably clear. Within minutes of TMZ dropping the image, it began ricocheting across every social media platform imaginable. Fan accounts dissected the body language. Celebrity commentators weighed in on the rosé. The general consensus, whether you were a die-hard Kardashian Jenner follower or someone who had no idea who Jacob Elordi was until Saltburn, was that this looked like two people very much enjoying each other's company, with zero interest in the outside world knowing about it. The sighting is only going to pour more fuel on the ongoing dating rumors surrounding the two stars. As reports first linked Jenner and Elordi started circulating around Coachella earlier this year, after fans began speculating they were spending increasing amounts of time together behind the scenes. But the beach photo was really only the crescendo. The Hawaii trip itself had already been trickling out in bits and pieces over the preceding days. Dukesmoy recently took to Instagram to share an update on the recent outing of Jenner and Elordi in Hawaii, sharing separate pictures of the duo. However, it suggested that during their time on the island of Kauai, they stopped by Nourish Hanalei to have breakfast. The pair were seen at a family-run farm, Nourish Hanalei, on the island of Kauai. They were also said to have stayed at a luxury resort and were seen shopping together during the trip, according to People. The photographs posted by Dukesmoy showed them separately, Elordi leaning casually against a black car, Jenner walking toward a property in sweats, a gray tank top, a baseball cap, and sunglasses. But the context left little room for ambiguity. Fans that saw the two in Hawaii told Dukesmoy that the rumored couple was so cute together. The specifics of the trip painted a portrait of two people who had settled into an easy comfort with each other. As per the photos, the rumored couple were at the Nourish Hanalei on the island of Kauai, Hawaii. During the trip, they were seen staying at the North Shore Preserve Resort and sipping coffee and shopping at the wine shop. Coffee runs, wine shopping, breakfast at a charming family-run Hawaiian farm. These were not the hallmarks of a first or second date. These were the hallmarks of something that had been developing for a while, something comfortable, unhurried, and distinctly low-key for two people who together command the attention of tens of millions of followers. Fans who crossed paths with the rumored couple on the island described them as relaxed and clearly at ease with one another. Fans who crossed paths with the two on the island told Dukesmoy they looked cozy and comfortable together. The Hawaii breakfast outing was not an isolated moment. According to Dukesmoy, the two spent several days on Kauai before heading back to Los Angeles, so it wasn't a quick stop on the island. And by the time that TMZ beach photograph dropped, the picture was becoming very difficult for anyone to deny. The internet erupted predictably. Netizens flooded the comment section with views about their rumored dating. And one user wrote, "It's not gonna last long, obviously, just a couple of months, and she's gonna be seen with another man. It's Kendall after all." Another user wrote, "Well, I guess have fun, lovebirds." Some commenters were firmly in the camp of rooting for the pair, while others referenced Kendall's lengthy romantic history as reason for skepticism. But love them or question them, everyone had an opinion. The photo was the single biggest piece of evidence, visual, undeniable, unambiguous, that Kendall Jenner and Jacob Elordi were spending serious, private, intimate time together. And yet, even as the Hawaii photos went supernova online, a significant detail remained unchanged. Neither Jenner nor Elordi has commented on the speculation, with both known for keeping their personal lives largely private. Not a word, not a confirmation, not a denial, not a coy Instagram story, not a vague tweet. It was this silence that made everything else so loud. But if you thought the Hawaii chapter was where this story began, you would be very, very wrong. To understand how Kendall Jenner ended up on a secluded Hawaiian beach sipping rosé next to Jacob Elordi, you need to rewind the clock by several months. You need to go back to the 2026 awards season. You need to go back to a Vanity Fair party, to a sisterly intervention, and to a Coachella weekend that changed everything. Because the seeds of this particular romance were planted long before anyone in the public caught on, and the person who apparently watered them was someone nobody expected. The first moment anyone outside of Kendall and Jacob's inner circle noticed anything was at the Vanity Fair Oscar party in March 2026. They began raising eyebrows in March after they were photographed together at the Vanity Fair Oscars party. At the time, most people didn't think twice about it. Hollywood events are packed with beautiful, famous people who happen to end up in the same photographs. Two people standing near each other at the Vanity Fair party is about as remarkable as two fish swimming near each other in the ocean. But in hindsight, that photograph was the very first breadcrumb. Earlier this year at the Vanity Fair Oscar party, he was seen in a deep conversation with her. Not just occupying the same general space, but actually talking, focused on each other. And while nobody made a federal case of it at the time, the moment registered with enough people that when the next breadcrumb dropped 1 month later at Coachella, fans started connecting dots that might otherwise have remained invisible. The 2026 awards season was a particularly significant stretch for Jacob Elordi. Elordi gained further recognition for his performance in Emerald Fennell's Saltburn and for his portrayal of the creature in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which earned him a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. His work in Guillermo del Toro's adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein had earned him nominations at every major ceremony that mattered. RogerEbert.com considered his performance as Frankenstein's creation marvelous in conveying the monster's intelligence, sensitivity, and inherent gentleness, while the Washington Post called it transformative. Both of these roles earned him nominations at the 83rd Golden Globe Awards for Best Actor in a Miniseries or Television Film and Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture. His role in Frankenstein also earned him nominations for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor and BAFTA Award for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. This meant that for weeks, Elordi was moving through the same exclusive circuit of parties, screenings, dinners, and award ceremonies as the biggest names in the industry, and one person who happened to be very much present in that circuit was Kylie Jenner, because her boyfriend, Timothée Chalamet, was also in the thick of the awards race. The 2026 awards season, where Jacob Elordi was nominated for his powerful performance in Frankenstein, proved to be an unexpected catalyst for romance. During this busy period, Kylie Jenner, who is dating Oscar-nominated actor Timothée Chalamet, found herself spending a lot of time around Elordi. It is important to understand what this overlap meant in practical terms. Awards season is not just red carpets and acceptance speeches. It is a grueling marathon of industry events, nominee luncheons, pre-parties, after-parties, intimate dinners hosted by studios and publicists. The same people see each other over and over again for weeks on end. And if your boyfriend is nominated alongside another actor, you're going to end up in very close proximity to that other actor, whether you plan for it or not. Kylie was around Jacob a lot during her boyfriend Timothée Chalamet's award season marathon, because Jacob was nominated for Frankenstein, and Timothée was nominated for Marty Supreme, the insider explained. This is where the story takes a turn that almost reads like a romantic comedy. Reports indicate that Kylie was impressed by the Australian actor and immediately thought he would be a great match for her sister. According to multiple sources, Kylie didn't just casually think this. She actively made it her mission to bring the two together. Using her alpha energy, Kylie encouraged Kendall to consider Elordi as more than just a friend, seeing the potential for fun double dates with her and Chalamet. According to a source, Kylie was very direct, telling her sister, "Girl, get on it, date this guy already." The matchmaking sister angle adds a layer to this story that elevates it from a standard celebrity romance rumor into something far more intriguing, because Kendall and Jacob were not strangers. They have known each other socially for years now and have hung out in similar circles, but it became romantic recently, the source claimed. Jacob also attended Kendall's birthday party back in 2022. They ran in the same circles, they were at the same events, they had mutual friends. But according to every report, the friendship had always stayed a friendship until Kylie decided it shouldn't. This behind-the-scenes push from Kylie is reportedly what helped Elordi finally get out of the friend zone with Kendall. And the reason the friend zone had existed in the first place appears to have had everything to do with who both Kendall and Jacob are as people. These are two individuals who, despite living their entire adult lives in the public eye, have consistently attempted to keep their romantic lives behind closed doors. Kendall has said as much in her own words. Jenner has previously said she prefers to keep relationships out of the spotlight, telling Vogue Australia in 2019 that her friendships and romances are very special and very sacred to her. She said, "I got a glimpse of how my sisters dealt with the attention, and it's cool to learn from that. For me, a lot of things are very special and very sacred, like my friends and relationships, and I personally think that bringing things into the public makes everything so much messier." That quote is not just a casual remark, it is the foundation of how Kendall has navigated every single romantic relationship she has ever been in. When she dated Devin Booker, one of the defining features of the relationship was how little the public actually saw of it. While Jenner isn't one to flaunt her relationships, she broke with tradition and went Instagram official with Booker in February 2021 for Valentine's Day. That was considered a major moment, Kendall actually posting a picture with her boyfriend. That is how private this woman is. Going Instagram official was treated like breaking news, because for Kendall, it essentially was. Jacob Elordi, for his part, operates with a very similar philosophy. Jacob Elordi reportedly wants to keep his rumored romance with Kendall Jenner a secret. A source told OK Magazine, the reason behind it could allegedly be more than just being a private person. The Australian actor has historically kept his relationships out of the spotlight, as much as is humanly possible for someone who is 6'5" and looks like a Greek statue. So when you put two aggressively private people together and add the nuclear spotlight of the Kardashian-Jenner media machine, the instinct to hide makes a tremendous amount of sense. But Kylie apparently had no interest in letting privacy get in the way of what she perceived as a good match. As per the insiders, Kylie is apparently rooting for something to happen between her sister and the actor. Reports suggest she saw in Jacob exactly the kind of person her older sister needed. Someone serious about their craft. Someone grounded by an upbringing far from Hollywood. Someone who could understand the pressures of fame without being consumed by them. And crucially, someone who, alongside Timothée Chalamet, could form the basis of what every tabloid and fan account immediately started fantasizing about. The ultimate double date. The idea of Kendall Jenner and Jacob Elordi paired with Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet is, from a pop culture standpoint, the kind of thing that tabloid editors dream about. Two sisters, both dating Oscar-nominated actors, both navigating the strange intersection of high fashion, reality TV royalty, and serious cinema. Kylie and Jenner both can have their Oscar-nominated men, and just have the best times ever if the latter started to flourish her romance with Jacob. The optics alone are staggering, and it appears that the push from Kylie worked, at least enough to get things started. Kendall Jenner and Jacob Elordi have reportedly been dating since February 2026. They made their first public appearance together at the Vanity Fair Oscar party in March 2026. According to the Daily Mail's sources, the connection between Kendall and Jacob became romantic as far back as early February 2026. They were an item as far back as early February, so it's been a while. That means by the time anybody noticed them together at the Vanity Fair party in March, they had already been quietly seeing each other for weeks. But Kendall, true to form, was hesitant. A separate source told Page 6 around the same time that Jenner had some reservations at first given the long-standing friendship between her and Elordi. The two have run in the same social circles for years, and she was initially cautious about crossing into romantic territory. This is an interesting detail because it reveals something fundamental about how Kendall thinks about relationships. She wasn't worried about Jacob's fame. She wasn't worried about his dating history. She was worried about risking a friendship that had existed comfortably for years. The question she seemed to be asking herself was, is this worth potentially making things weird? Kendall was reportedly hesitant at first, but her interest has grown as they have spent more time together, and that tracks with everything else we know about the timeline. February saw the initial spark, March brought the Vanity Fair conversation that caught people's attention, and then April arrived, bringing with it the event that would blow the entire situation wide open: Coachella. Weekend 1 of Coachella 2026 was not just a music festival for Kendall and Jacob, it was the moment the world stopped guessing and started assuming. A month later, they reunited during Weekend 1 of Coachella, where they joined pals in seeing Justin Bieber perform. However, there were rumblings on social media from fellow Coachella goers who say they saw the pair getting especially cozy during the music festival. Gossip blog Du Moi even claimed multiple sources reported Kendall and Jacob were locking lips at Justin's after-party. The reports from Coachella were not subtle. The couple first sparked dating rumors in April after being seen making out, and all over each other at Justin Bieber's Coachella after-party. Multiple anonymous sources sent tips to Du Moi claiming the pair were not merely standing next to each other. At the festival, they were making out, at Justin Bieber's after-party of all places. The tipsters were consistent and specific, which is what gave the reports enough weight to become a genuine story rather than just idle speculation. The Frankenstein star was sporting a hat from Justin's swag merch. In pictures that went viral from the night, Kendall was spotted standing close to Jacob during Justin's performance, and the photos went viral almost immediately. Social media detectives zoomed in on body language, the distance or lack thereof between them, and every possible detail that could confirm or deny what the anonymous tipsters were saying. The conclusion that most people reached was that these two were very much together, in every sense that mattered. And then something interesting happened. After the Coachella weekend, after the gossip accounts had run hot with reports of public displays of affection and after-party makeouts, Kendall took to Instagram and shared a video clip of Justin Bieber with a heart emoticon. She also reposted stunning photos with sister Kylie Jenner she posted from the festival. That was it. No mention of Jacob, no couple photo, no winking emoji directed at anyone in particular. Just a video of Justin performing a heart and some photos with Kylie. It was classic Kendall, acknowledging she was at the event, without acknowledging any of the noise surrounding her presence there. This is the breaking of silence that headlines have latched onto, and it is worth examining what it actually is. Kendall Jenner broke her silence on social media after she sparked romance rumors with Jacob Elordi, following what appeared to be their Coachella date night. The phrase "breaks her silence" conjures images of a press conference or a tell-all interview. But in Kendall's world, silence is the default setting, and breaking it means posting an Instagram story about a Justin Bieber concert. The bar is that low because Kendall has kept it that low intentionally for years. The social media post accomplished something very specific. It confirmed Kendall was at Coachella without confirming she was at Coachella with Jacob. It was a masterclass in revealing nothing while appearing to reveal something. Fans who wanted to believe the rumors could point to the timing and say, "See, she was there." Fans who remained skeptical could point to the absence of Jacob and say there's nothing here. Kendall threaded the needle perfectly, as she almost always does. But behind the Instagram stories, sources were telling a very different tale. People magazine, citing a source, reports that the supermodel and the actor have been hanging out and getting to know each other the last couple months. The language was measured. Hanging out and getting to know each other is the kind of phrasing that publicists and insiders use when something is real but not yet ready to be formalized. It is deliberately vague and deliberately revealing at the same time. And given that multiple outlets were being fed the same basic line, it was clear that someone in the orbit of one or both of these people wanted the world to know that this was a thing without officially calling it a thing. To understand why the pairing of Kendall Jenner and Jacob Elordi has generated such an extraordinary amount of fascination, you need to understand the romantic landscapes both of them are emerging from, because neither of them arrives at this moment with a blank slate. Kendall Jenner's dating history reads like a who's who of professional athletes and A-list musicians, a roster of famous names that has itself become a cultural phenomenon, complete with its own memes, jokes, and even a Super Bowl commercial. The list begins with Harry Styles. Kendall and Harry Styles were first linked when they were spotted having dinner together in Los Angeles in November 2013. It was reported that the pair split a few months later in early 2014. However, they rekindled their romance the following year. The Styles connection was Kendall's first high-profile romance, and it set the template for everything that would follow. Brief periods of public visibility, long stretches of silence, and a lingering friendship that outlasted the relationship itself. Then 18 and 20, Kendall and Harry never lost each other's numbers, reuniting for Stop the Press's outings in 2016, 2018, 2020. So at the very least, a lasting friendship was in the cards for the duo, who sparked romance rumors again as recently as 2022. Following Harry's split from Olivia Wilde after the On and Off Styles chapter, Kendall's dating history moved firmly into the world of professional basketball. AP Rocky was one of her most media-heavy relationships in 2016 and 2017, including Met Gala red carpets. Blake Griffin was a formal couple between late 2017 and early 2018. Ben Simmons had an intermittent relationship with cohabitation in West Hollywood between 2018 and 2019. The parade of NBA players linked to Kendall became so well known that the internet turned it into a running joke. A fan tweeted a meme in 2019 starting 5 of NBA players Kendall Jenner dated that boasted photos of Jordan, Ben, Blake, then Laker Kyle Kuzma, and journeyman D'Angelo Russell. But the relationship that came closest to something lasting, at least publicly, was with Phoenix Suns guard Devin Booker. Kendall Jenner and Devin Booker were first spotted together in April 2020. When they road-tripped from California to Arizona. Fans were quick to assume the pair were dating, though they denied early reports. They were spotted together several more times, making it clear they were a couple, but they refused to confirm anything. The Booker relationship became the longest and most publicly visible romance in Kendall's history. Kendall confirmed she was dating the NBA star, claiming, "He's my boyfriend." The relationship lasted on and off for roughly 2.5 years. The pair dated on and off for 2 years until they briefly split in early 2022. Though they apparently had a happy reunion at the time, they eventually called it quits again later that year. They attended family events together, including Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker's wedding in Italy. They celebrated their anniversary on Instagram. By all observable measures, it seemed like the most serious and committed relationship Kendall had ever been in. And then, as is the pattern in Kendall's romantic life, it ended, not with a dramatic public split, but with a quiet dissolution that left fans piecing things together after the fact. Following the Booker split, Kendall moved into what became her most publicly affectionate relationship, Bad Bunny. They first linked up in February 2023 when they were spotted leaving locations just minutes apart. They famously double-dated with Hailey and Justin Bieber during those early days. Unlike the Booker era, where Kendall kept things subdued and controlled, the Bad Bunny relationship was, by Kendall's standards, an explosion of public visibility. They were seen dancing and smooching together at a recent Drake concert, with many fans capturing their affection from all angles. For a woman who had spent her entire dating life insisting on privacy, the Bad Bunny chapter was a radical departure. And then, just like every chapter before it, it closed. Jenner and Bad Bunny stopped appearing together around November 2023, prompting fans to assume they had broken up. They confirmed their split in December 2023, and while they briefly reconnected the following year, it didn't last. After Bad Bunny, Kendall found herself pulled back into the orbit of Devin Booker once more. Following her breakup from Bad Bunny, TMZ reported in February 2024 that Kendall started seeing Devin again, but the two were taking things slow. The reconciliation was cautious. Sources described it as tentative and exploratory, as though both parties were trying to figure out whether the thing that didn't work twice before could somehow work a third time. In February 2025, a source revealed to US Weekly that Jenner and Booker are very much together. In June 2025, US Magazine reported that Booker and Jenner had broken up again. The final Booker breakup in June 2025 was, according to sources, the definitive one. According to Us Weekly on June 3, 2025, Devin Booker and Kendall Jenner's most recent split happened over a month ago. Us Weekly cited their ongoing issues, clashing schedules, communication problems, and just not being on the same page. The familiar culprits were cited: incompatible schedules, differing lifestyles, and inability to align on the things that matter when you're trying to build a life with someone. After 5 years of orbiting each other, Kendall and Devin were finally, truly done. And it was in this aftermath, single for the first time in a meaningful sense since before the pandemic, that Kendall entered the phase she described as her me era. Since then, the model has spoken about entering a me era, focusing on her personal growth as she approached her 30th birthday. The phrasing is deliberate and revealing. Me era is the language of someone who has been in back-to-back relationships for the better part of a decade and is consciously choosing to step off the carousel. And for a while it appeared that Kendall was genuinely content to be unattached, focusing on her modeling career, her 818 tequila brand, and her appearances on The Kardashians. But then awards season rolled around. Kylie started whispering in her ear about a tall Australian actor, And the Me era apparently got a plot twist. Jacob Elordi's romantic history, while not as long as Kendall's, is equally notable for the names involved. Elordi has been romantically linked to the Kissing Booth co-star Joey King, Euphoria co-star Zendaya, model Kaia Gerber, and YouTuber Olivia Jade, which have received widespread media attention. Every single one of those names carries significant cultural weight, and the progression from one to the next charts. Elordi's evolution from teen movie heartthrob to serious actor. The Joey King chapter came first. Elordi found himself in his first public romance when he started dating co-star Joey King in 2017. However, the pair who met while filming The Kissing Booth split after 1 year. It was the quintessential young Hollywood romance. Two co-stars falling for each other while making a teen movie, dating for the duration of the promotional cycle, and then splitting quietly enough that they still had to reunite on screen for the sequel. King said, "I'm sure people will analyze every movement and every detail. And you know what? Let them." Despite any onset discomfort, King told Howard Stern in 2020 that she had no regrets about dating Elordi. Then came Zendaya. Elordi decided to mix business with pleasure once again in 2019, when he started dating Euphoria co-star Zendaya. While neither star ever spoke out about their rumored romance, they were photographed vacationing together in Greece in August 2019. The Elordi-Zendaya pairing was one of those relationships that everyone seemed to know about, but neither party was willing to confirm. Elordi denied the rumors while speaking to GQ Australia, describing Zendaya as "like my sister." The denial was met with a collective eye roll from the internet, given that the pair had been photographed on vacation in Greece and had been spotted on multiple PDA-filled outings in New York. But Elordi stuck to the just friends line, establishing a pattern of aggressive privacy that has defined his approach to public relationships ever since. After Zendaya came Kaia Gerber, Cindy Crawford's daughter. Elordi and Gerber were first publicly spotted together in September 2020. The two embarked on multiple PDA-filled dates in New York City, before going Instagram official by posting a photo of their quite prescient couple costume for Halloween. Elvis and Priscilla Presley. The irony of Elordi dressing as Elvis for Halloween with his girlfriend, only to later play the role of Elvis in Sofia Coppola's Priscilla, was not lost on anyone. The Gerber relationship lasted about a year before they parted ways quietly. No dramatic statements, no public acrimony, just a gradual fading that those who followed their story noticed only in retrospect. And then there was Olivia Jade Giannulli, the relationship that would define the longest chapter of Elordi's romantic life. Elordi's most publicized relationship in recent times was with lifestyle influencer Olivia Jade Giannulli, daughter of Lori Loughlin and Massimo Giannulli. The pair were first linked in late 2021, shortly after Elordi's breakup with model Kaia Gerber. Elordi and Giannulli's relationship was typically low-key but consistent, marked by multiple breakups and reconciliations over the next few years. As they navigated young Hollywood life together, their romance made headlines through 2022 and 2023, with sources at times describing them as very serious, and often seen together at events or traveling abroad. The Olivia Jade saga was a masterclass in the on-again, off-again dynamic that seems to plague so many young Hollywood relationships. By 2025, breakup rumors began circulating again. In August 2025, people reported that Elordi and Giannulli called it quits, and yet just 1 month later, they were reportedly back together. Giannulli even attended Elordi's Frankenstein premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival in September. By October, the breakup was reportedly back on again. It's fully over. They are not getting back together, a source told People at the time. And yet, even after that definitive-sounding pronouncement, by January 2026, the duo was spotted together again in New York City, sparking speculation about another reconciliation. On January 14th, they both attended the same Frankenstein screening and were later spotted having dinner with Elordi's parents. The January 2026 Frankenstein screening with Olivia Jade is a crucial detail because it means that Jacob Elordi may have still been entangled, emotionally, if not formally, with Olivia Jade. At almost exactly the same time, reports say he and Kendall started becoming romantic. It was unclear whether they're really back together or just seeing each other on occasion. In early 2026, after the couple was spotted attending a screening of Frankenstein in New York City, a source told Us Weekly that the pair aren't putting a label on their relationship or seriously dating. There are still strong feelings between them. and they do enjoy their time when they get to see each other. The two intermittently dated for more than 4 years, from December 2021 until, it seemed, early 2026. The overlap, or the near miss of an overlap, adds a layer of complexity to the Kendall-Jacob narrative. It also claimed they reconnect when both are single, after other romances cool off. If, as sources have suggested, both Kendall and Jacob tend to circle back to previous partners between new connections, then the timing of their romantic spark becomes even more significant. It suggests that both of them were in a window of genuine availability at roughly the same moment. Kendall freshly separated from the Booker cycle. Jacob apparently done with the Olivia Jade cycle, and that window happened to coincide with awards season. Kylie's matchmaking instincts and whatever organic chemistry existed between them already. The combined weight of their dating histories also illuminates why the keeping things casual narrative has been so persistent. Both of these people have been burned, or at least bruised, by the combination of high-profile romance and public scrutiny. Kendall watched her relationship with Devin Booker become internet content. Jacob watched his relationship with Zendaya become tabloid fodder, despite his best efforts to deny it. Both of them have experienced firsthand what happens when the world has an opinion about who you're sleeping with, and both of them have apparently concluded that less information shared is better. This shared philosophy of radical privacy is arguably the strongest bond between them. Stronger, perhaps, than whatever physical or emotional chemistry exists. They both understand at a fundamental level what it costs to be public with your love life when you are famous. And that understanding means they are uniquely equipped to navigate whatever is developing between them. Without the missteps that typically accompany celebrity courtships, they don't need to explain to each other why they don't want to post about it. They don't need to justify the desire for secrecy. They both just get it. And yet, despite all the shared caution and mutual privacy, the world has managed to piece together a remarkably detailed picture of their romance. From the Vanity Fair conversation to the Coachella makeout to the Hawaii vacation, every significant beat has been documented by tipsters, paparazzi, and the ever-watchful eye of Doug Moy. The irony is thick. Two of the most private celebrities in the world have had their budding relationship exposed in meticulous chronological detail by the very machinery they have spent their careers trying to evade. But the story does not end with documentation alone. What makes this particular romance so compelling is not just the who and the when, but the how. Specifically, how insiders describe the dynamic between Kendall and Jacob, and what those descriptions reveal about where this could be heading. If there is a single character in this narrative who deserves a producer credit, it is Kylie Jenner. The younger Jenner sisters' role in bringing Kendall and Jacob together has been reported by nearly every major outlet, and the consistency of those reports makes it nearly impossible to dismiss as tabloid embellishment. According to a Daily Mail report, the connection may have started even earlier. The outlet claimed the two have been together since February, with Jenner's younger sister, Kylie Jenner, reportedly playing matchmaker. The Kylie Cosmetics founder had grown close to Elordi during the awards season circuit, where her longtime partner Timothée Chalamet was nominated for his role in Marty Supreme, and Elordi received a nod for Frankenstein. Kylie reportedly felt the two would be well suited. The mechanics of the matchmaking are surprisingly granular, according to insiders. Kylie's proximity to Jacob during awards season was not coincidental, it was structural. When your boyfriend is competing in the same category as someone, you end up at the same events, the same tables, the same pre-ceremony gatherings. Over the course of several weeks, Kylie reportedly observed Jacob closely and came to a conclusion that she felt compelled to act on. She saw qualities in him that she believed would complement her sister's personality and lifestyle, and rather than letting the idea simmer passively, she went to Kendall with all the subtlety of a freight train. The directness of Kylie's approach is notable because it reveals something about the Jenner sisters' relationship dynamic in a family as large and as publicized as the Kardashian-Jenners. The bond between Kendall and Kylie has always been distinct. They are the youngest of the clan, the closest in age, and the most likely to operate as a unit separate from their older siblings. Kylie telling Kendall to date someone is not the same as Kris Jenner making a suggestion, or Kim Kardashian offering an opinion. It carries a different weight. The weight of a confidant, a peer, a co-conspirator. The dream, as insiders have described it, was elegant in its simplicity. Sister double dates with Oscar-nominated boyfriends. Kylie envisioned a future where she and Kendall could move through Hollywood's most exclusive spaces as a unit, each with a partner who belonged in those rooms on their own merits. Timothée Chalamet and Jacob Elordi represent a very specific type of young male celebrity. Serious actors with critical acclaim, European sensibilities, or in Jacob's case, Australian ones that read similarly, and enough cultural cachet to hold their own against the gravitational pull of the Kardashian-Jenner brand. The pairing, on paper, is almost too perfect, and the fantasy has, at least once, become reality. According to a tweet from Popbase that circulated widely, Jacob Elordi, Timothée Chalamet, Kendall Jenner, and Kylie Jenner were spotted on a double date in LA. The four of them out together doing exactly what Kylie reportedly wanted. Two sisters, two actors, one dinner. The internet promptly lost its collective mind, and understandably so. This was the convergence of multiple celebrity worlds into a single table at a Los Angeles restaurant. Following the festival, the Daily Mail reported Kylie is supporting their romance. Later, Kylie took to Instagram and shared a video with caption, "Forgot to post this." The video featured Kylie and Kendall dancing together at Coachella. The caption, "Forgot to post this," reads as intentionally nonchalant, the kind of deliberately casual framing that someone uses when they want to appear unbothered, while actually signaling something very specific. By posting a video of herself and Kendall having fun at the same event, where Kendall and Jacob were reportedly making out, Kylie was effectively giving the situation her stamp of approval, without saying a single word about Jacob. But for all of Kylie's enthusiasm, not everyone in the orbit of this story appeared equally convinced. Jacob and Kendall are said to be friendly and flirty and don't mind the talk about their makeout session. The insider claimed, "There's nothing more between Kendall and Jacob." However, the close confidant tells the outlet, this might disappoint Kylie Jenner. This is a fascinating tension. Kylie wanted a romance to develop. Some insiders were insisting it was still just fun, and Kendall and Jacob themselves were staying maddeningly silent. The gap between what Kylie hoped for and what actually existed, or what insiders were authorized to say actually existed, created a narrative ambiguity that has fueled speculation for weeks. The Coachella weekend itself deserves a more granular examination, because the details that emerged paint a vivid picture of two people who, whether they intended to or not, behaved in ways that screamed couple. Rumors picked up around Coachella this year. After gossip account Doug Moy claimed sources spotted the pair getting close at Justin Bieber's after-party. There were also claims they were seen kissing during the event. The significance of this happening at Coachella cannot be overstated. Coachella is one of the most heavily surveilled events in American celebrity culture. Every attendee is photographed. Every interaction is noted. Every after-party is crawling with people who have the Do Moy submission form bookmarked on their phones. If you're going to make out with someone at Coachella, you are, by definition, making a choice to be seen, or at the very least, accepting the extremely high probability that you will be. For two people as committed to privacy as Kendall and Jacob, the Coachella PDA is almost paradoxical. It suggests either that they were caught up in a moment and momentarily forgot the surveillance state they live in, or that they didn't particularly care if people saw. That distinction matters enormously. Being caught implies a lack of control. Not caring implies a level of comfort with the situation that goes beyond a casual hookup. And if the multiple consistent reports from that weekend are to be believed, not caring is the more accurate description. The Justin Bieber connection adds another thread to the tapestry. Kendall Jenner has been close friends with Justin and Hailey Bieber for years. Months after Kendall Jenner's split with NBA guard Devin Booker in fall 2022, the model's love life got an assist from friends Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber. The married duo were spotted enjoying a double date with the reality star and musician Bad Bunny in February 2023. The Biebers have historically served as a kind of social connector in Kendall's romantic life, facilitating outings, providing cover for early dates, and generally existing as the couple that other couples orbit around. The fact that Kendall and Jacob's most visible Coachella moment occurred at Justin Bieber's after-party places it squarely within the social ecosystem that has produced many of Kendall's previous romantic connections. Kendall placed a heart emoji over the picture of the Grammy winner, performing his early hits. The Kardashian star and Jacob, 28, were spotted standing close during the set, as both of them appeared mesmerized by the performance. The concert footage tells a story of its own, two people standing side by side, absorbed in the same musical experience, existing in a bubble that the crowd around them seemed to recognize. even if they pretended not to. Multiple concertgoers reported the proximity. Multiple tipsters reported the chemistry. And when the set ended and the after-party began, whatever restraint had existed during the concert apparently evaporated. What happened next at the after-party became the subject of the most intense scrutiny. As speculations about their relationship began swirling, the celebrity gossip account Dukmoy shared an anonymous tip, saying that the pair was all over each other at the music festival. The phrase "all over each other" leaves very little to the imagination. These were not reports of two friends catching up over drinks. These were reports of physical, unmistakable, romantic behavior, the kind that strangers at a party would notice and feel compelled to report to an anonymous gossip account. In the immediate aftermath of Coachella, sources began telling different outlets slightly different versions of the same fundamental story. Some portrayed the connection as brand new and spontaneous. Others suggested it had been building for months. Some described it as casual and fun. Others hinted at something deeper. The inconsistencies themselves are revealing because they suggest that different people within Kendall and Jacob's respective circles had different understandings of or different instructions regarding what to say. Kendall is 100% Jacob's type, a source suggested. I heard they're having fun and he hung out with her Sunday too. One source described the dynamic in terms that were unmistakably positive and forward-looking. An insider told People magazine that the two had been hanging out and getting to know each other the last couple of months. They were first seen together at the Vanity Fair Oscar party earlier in the year and have reportedly been meeting up privately in Los Angeles, with some early dates taking place at Kendall's Beverly Hills home. The connection is said to be easy and fun. Sources describe them as both being low-key individuals who take their careers seriously, making it simple for them to get along. The characterization of the relationship as easy is significant because it contrasts with the narratives that surrounded Kendall's previous partnerships. The Booker relationship was described as strained by conflicting schedules. The Bad Bunny relationship was marked by a tension between public and private. With Jacob, the word that keeps surfacing is easy, a simplicity that emerges from shared values, shared temperaments, and the shared experience of being intensely private people, navigating intensely public lives. Whether that ease translates into longevity remains an open question, but the fact that insiders are using it to describe the early stages is noteworthy. At the same time, not all insider accounts have been uniformly optimistic. One insider said, "Hooking up with Jacob is fun for Kendall." The source added, "She doesn't take him seriously at all." This framing casts the relationship in a very different light, not as a burgeoning romance, but as a casual fling, driven by attraction and convenience rather than genuine emotional investment. The insider said, "Kendall is a realist." The source added that she knows Elordi isn't ready for a serious relationship right now. The tension between the "it's getting serious" camp and the "it's just fun" camp is one of the defining features of this story. Depending on which outlet you read and which unnamed source you choose to believe, Kendall and Jacob are either falling for each other or killing time between more meaningful relationships. The truth, as is usually the case with celebrity relationships that are being narrated in real time by anonymous insiders, likely exists somewhere in the messy middle, more than a hookup, less than a committed partnership, existing in the ambiguous space that modern dating culture has given the name situationship. And the situationship label is one that sources have explicitly applied. Kendall Jenner is reportedly keeping Jacob Elordi casual because she believes commitment could ruin their arrangement. The logic, according to insiders, is that Kendall has seen enough relationships deteriorate under the weight of labels and expectations, that she has developed a philosophy of deliberate non-commitment. If you never call it a relationship, it can never technically end. If you keep things casual, the stakes remain low enough. It is a defensive posture disguised as a lifestyle choice, and anyone who has ever been through the on-again, off-again cycle that Kendall experienced with Booker can understand the appeal of it. But the situationship framework has a built-in expiration date, and the Hawaii trip may have been the moment it started to crack. Because you can call something casual all you want, but when you're on a multi-day vacation together on a Hawaiian island, having breakfast at charming farm eateries, and lounging on private beaches with rosé, the word casual starts to ring hollow. The behaviors observed in Hawaii, extended togetherness, shared meals, shared accommodations, are the behaviors of a couple, regardless of what label either party is or isn't willing to apply. That hesitation, however, appears to have faded, as those close to the situation noted that the dynamic between them has shifted noticeably. In recent months, the word shifted carries weight. It implies movement, change, evolution. It suggests that whatever the relationship was in February or March has become something different by May. And if the trajectory of that shift is upward from friends to something more, from casual to something deeper, then the next chapter of this story becomes very interesting indeed. The question that remains is whether Kendall will ever actually address the relationship publicly. Her track record suggests she won't, at least not anytime soon. When she confirmed her relationship with Devin Booker, it came almost a full year after they started dating. The Bad Bunny relationship was never formally confirmed at all. It simply existed in the public record through photographs and sightings. Until it stopped existing, if Kendall follows the same playbook with Jacob, the world may never get a formal statement. The closest anyone will get is the breadcrumbs she has been dropping, the Instagram stories, the not denials, the being seen without acknowledging being seen. And Jacob's approach is, if anything, even more closed off. Jacob Elordi reportedly wants to keep his rumored romance with Kendall Jenner a secret. A source told OK Magazine the reason behind it could allegedly be more than just being a private person. The suggestion that Jacob's desire for secrecy goes beyond standard celebrity caution raises intriguing questions. What is he protecting himself? The relationship? The career momentum that comes from being perceived as available? The answers are speculative, but the intensity of his desire for privacy is well documented and stands in fascinating contrast with the Kardashian-Jenner family's default mode of strategic visibility. This tension between Jenner world transparency and Elordi world privacy could prove to be the defining dynamic of their relationship going forward. The Kardashian-Jenner machine runs on content, on access, on the carefully controlled release of personal information to maintain public interest. Jacob Elordi has built his career on being the opposite of that. Mysterious, withholding, allergic to revelation. How those two approaches coexist in a romantic context is something that neither the insiders nor the gossip accounts can predict. And it is arguably the most compelling unanswered question in this entire saga. But before we examine where all of this might be heading, there's one more dimension of this story that deserves attention. The dimension that contextualizes everything else. Who Jacob Elordi is beyond the gossip, beyond the relationship headlines, beyond the paparazzi photographs. To understand why Jacob Elordi's entanglement with Kendall Jenner feels different from her previous relationships, you need to understand how fundamentally unlikely his presence in this narrative is. This is not a professional athlete who was born into American privilege. This is not a musician who grew up adjacent to fame. Elordi spent the first 12 years of his life in Brisbane, before relocating to Melbourne in 2010 for 4 years. While his sister attended the Australian Ballet School, he returned to his hometown of Brisbane in 2013. When he was 16 years old to finish high school, Jacob Elordi is from Brisbane, Australia, a city that is many things but is decidedly not Hollywood. His path to acting was unconventional, and by his own account, improbable. Growing up, he was a talented junior athlete, representing Victoria in both rugby union and basketball, and was a member of the Under-16 National Championship-winning Victorian basketball team. In 2012, while a player on his school's rugby team, Elordi performed in school musicals starting at age 12, starring in productions of Seussical and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and he soon began taking acting classes. He was first inspired to become an actor by Heath Ledger, particularly because of his role as the Joker. In the 2008 film The Dark Knight, the Heath Ledger connection is poignant. A young Australian kid watching another Australian kid transform into one of the most iconic characters in movie history, and thinking, I want to do that. It is the kind of origin story that sounds like it was written by a screenwriter. But by all accounts, it is simply what happened. Jacob Elordi, born 26th of June 1997, is an Australian actor. His accolades include a Critics' Choice Movie Award and 2 AACTA Awards, and nominations for 3 British Academy Film Awards and 2 Golden Globe Awards. He became known for his role as Noah Flynn in Netflix's The Kissing Booth franchise, 2018 to 2021, and as Nate Jacobs in the HBO drama series Euphoria, 2019 present. Those are the official credits, the Wikipedia version of his career. But the journey between Brisbane schoolboy and Hollywood leading man contained a chapter that almost nobody remembers, a chapter of genuine desperation. After filming was completed for the first Kissing Booth film, Elordi moved to Los Angeles. He helped a friend of his film an audition for a role in Sam Levinson's HBO drama series, Euphoria. While occasionally sleeping in his car and couch surfing at friends' houses with little money left, and his visa expiring soon, he auditioned for Euphoria himself, with plans for it to be his last audition before moving back home. He was then selected to play Nate Jacobs, a troubled high school football player with an abusive father. This is the detail that reframes everything. Before Euphoria, before Saltburn, before the Oscar nomination, before sipping rosé on a private Hawaiian beach next to one of the most famous women in the world, Jacob Elordi was sleeping in his car. He was broke, his visa was running out. He was one rejected audition away from going back to Brisbane and abandoning the dream entirely. The role of Nate Jacobs in Euphoria changed the trajectory of his life. Elordi described the character as a narcissist and a sociopath, while the role was described by Maanya Sakdeva of The Guardian as an impressive career pivot for Elordi, and Samantha Bergeson of IndieWire called it his breakout role. The character was reprehensible, violent, manipulative, terrifying in his intensity, but Elordi played him with a specificity and a depth that made critics sit up and take notice. This was not the same actor who had charmed teenagers in The Kissing Booth. This was something else entirely. But it was Sofia Coppola's Priscilla in 2023 that announced Elordi as a legitimate prestige actor. His portrayal of Elvis Presley, not the hip-swiveling icon, but the controlling, isolated, deeply complicated man behind the myth, earned widespread critical acclaim and positioned him as an actor capable of inhabiting characters far removed from his teen heartthrob origins. It was followed by Emerald Fennell's Saltburn, in which Elordi played a different kind of magnetic, entitled presence, and then by the role that would change everything. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein gave Elordi the vehicle to prove definitively that he was not just a pretty face with range. Nowhere has it been more striking than in his performance as an actual monster, known as the Creature, at the center of Guillermo del Toro's adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Starring opposite Oscar Isaac and Mia Goth, the 28-year-old Australian heartthrob disappeared into the part, not only by spending hours in the hair and makeup chair, but also by developing an entirely new physicality. To inhabit the creature's stitched-together body, Elordi trained in Buto, a form of Japanese dance theater akin to reanimating a corpse. The haunting performance earned him his first Critics' Choice Award and a Golden Globe nomination. With Oscars buzz swirling, the accolades poured in from every corner of the industry. Both of these roles earned him nominations at the 83rd Golden Globe Awards. His role in Frankenstein also earned him nominations for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor and BAFTA Award for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. In the span of 2 years, Elordi had gone from that tall guy from Euphoria to an Academy Award-nominated actor, with a Critics' Choice Award on his shelf, and some of the most respected directors in cinema actively seeking to work with him. And then came Wuthering Heights. In 2026, he collaborated with director Emerald Fennell, again for her adaptation of Wuthering Heights, in which he starred as Heathcliff opposite Margot Robbie. The film was released on 13 February 2026. The casting of Elordi as Heathcliff, one of the most legendary characters in English literature, opposite Margot Robbie was the kind of announcement that generates headlines on its own. To avoid being typecast in pretty boy roles, Elordi took on character-driven roles in films like Euphoria. Priscilla, he went that way. Saltburn, Frankenstein, Wuthering Heights, and The Dog Stars. The transformation from teen movie heartthrob to the brooding, tortured Heathcliff was perhaps the most dramatic evidence yet of Elordi's commitment to reinvention. The Wuthering Heights release coincided almost exactly with the beginning of the Kendall timeline. The film dropped on February 13, 2026. Reports suggest Kendall and Jacob became an item in early February. The proximity is probably coincidental, but it creates an interesting narrative overlay. Jacob Elordi was playing one of literature's great doomed lovers on screen, while apparently beginning a real-life romance with one of the most watched women on the planet. Jacob Elordi's journey has been incredible so far, but not everyone is aware that he was once bullied for his physique. During his childhood, he was bullied in school for his height, but now it is one of his biggest advantages as an actor. Just like that, people who say that he is in Hollywood just because of his looks are hiding in their caves after watching his performance in Euphoria, Priscilla, He Went That Way, Saltburn, and Frankenstein. The bullied kid from Brisbane narrative provides a counterweight to the perception of Elordi as just another genetically blessed celebrity dating another genetically blessed celebrity. His journey has been marked by genuine struggle, genuine risk, and genuine artistic ambition, qualities that set him apart from the athletes and musicians who have previously occupied space in Kendall's romantic timeline. Elordi also became well known for his height of 1.96 meters, 6 feet 5 in. Esther Zuckerman wrote of Elordi in The Atlantic that he was best known for being very tall, very handsome in a classical way, and having a sharp, strong jawline and chin. The physical dimension of his fame, the height, the jaw, the general architecture of his face has been both a blessing and a burden. It got him noticed. It got him the kissing booth. It got him labeled as a heartthrob, but it also threatened to define him, to trap him in a category that he has spent years fighting his way out of. Every role from Nate Jacobs onward has been, in some sense, an argument that he is more than what he looks like. There is a compelling parallel between Elordi's career arc and Kendall Jenner's own professional journey. Kendall has spent her entire modeling career fighting the perception that she only got opportunities because of her last name. She has walked for Chanel, Prada, Givenchy, Balenciaga, but every runway appearance comes with the asterisk of Kardashian-Jenner fame. Both Kendall and Jacob are people who are constantly trying to be taken seriously for their work while carrying the weight of being reduced to their surfaces, her to her family name, him to his face. This shared experience of fighting against reduction may be one of the things that draws them together in a way that is difficult to articulate, but immediately felt. When two people have both spent their professional lives being told, implicitly or explicitly, that they are not what they actually are, there is a recognition that happens between them, a kind of mutual understanding that doesn't require explanation. The sources who describe their connection as easy may be tapping into exactly this dynamic, the ease of being understood without having to justify yourself. Frankenstein was a long shoot. It really was. I was living in a 3-story Gothic house in Toronto that had all these window seats. I would curl up in them and watch people walk by. My days were spent on set. I felt very secluded from the outside world. It's not the kind of role where you can have lunch with your friends. These are the words of someone who takes his craft with a level of seriousness that borders on monastic. Elordi's description of his Frankenstein experience, the isolation, the immersion, the physical transformation, reveals an intensity that stands in stark contrast to the casual, breezy tone of the gossip columns covering his love life. The Jacob Elordi, who trained in Buto to move like a reanimated corpse, is a very different person from the Jacob Elordi, who is photographed sipping coffee on a Hawaiian vacation with his famous maybe girlfriend. And yet, both versions are real. The serious artist and the man on the beach exist simultaneously. And one of the most interesting things about the Kendall connection is that she appears to engage with both. Sources describe their time together as fun and low-key, but they also note that both are serious about their careers, and that mutual respect is a foundation of their dynamic. The implication is that Kendall sees Jacob not just as an attractive man to spend time with, but as a person whose work ethic and artistic ambition she genuinely admires. Insiders noted that Elordi's intense focus on his acting career, including his recent role in Frankenstein, often made maintaining long-distance commitments difficult. This detail is important because it suggests that Jacob's dedication to his craft has historically come at a cost to his personal life. The on-again, off-again nature of his relationship with Olivia Jade was reportedly driven, at least in part, by the demands of a career that requires lengthy shoots in remote locations. If Kendall is aware of this pattern, and she almost certainly is, then her decision to keep things casual rather than push for commitment takes on an additional dimension. It's not just about her own fear of getting hurt. It's about recognizing that the person she's with has a history of prioritizing work in ways that are incompatible with traditional relationship structures. The foot injury that forced Jacob to withdraw from the 2026 Cannes Film Festival jury adds yet another wrinkle. The 28-year-old actor was seen leaving Caruso's in Montecito. Getting in a car wearing crutches, seemed to have injured feet. The Euphoria star is healing from a foot injury at present, which led to him withdrawing from Cannes Film Festival jury. Elordi, and who appeared to be Jenner's outing, was reported by many anonymous tipsters to the celebrity account Dumoy. While the couple's relationship has been confirmed by inside sources, fans are finding it hard to believe that the rumors are true. The fact that Kendall was apparently with him during his recovery period suggests a level of caretaking that goes beyond what you would expect from a situationship. When someone is nursing you through an injury, driving you around, spending time with you when you're on crutches, that is not casual behavior. That is the behavior of someone who cares. And the Montecito sighting, which came before the Hawaii trip, suggests that whatever the official label, or lack thereof, the practical reality of Kendall and Jacob's connection looks a lot like a relationship. The progression of sightings tells its own story. Deep conversation at Vanity Fair in March, making out at Coachella in April, quiet time together in Montecito in early May, a Hawaiian vacation in mid-May. Each chapter represents an escalation. More time, more proximity, more intimacy. The trajectory is clear and unmistakable, regardless of how many insiders insist on using the word casual. But the public hasn't just been watching the escalation, they've been debating it, dissecting it, and in some cases, judging it harshly. Because when your name is Kendall Jenner and your dating history includes roughly a dozen high-profile men, every new relationship is viewed through the lens of every previous one. The internet has opinions, and those opinions have not been universally kind. Fan reactions to the Kendall-Jacob news have spanned the full spectrum from enthusiastic support to pointed skepticism. The supportive contingent sees in this pairing something that Kendall's previous relationships lacked: intellectual and artistic compatibility. Jacob Elordi is not a basketball player whose season schedule will conflict with Kendall's Fashion Week obligations. He is not a musician whose public persona creates a tension between his partner's desire for privacy and his own need for visibility. He is an actor, and increasingly, a serious one, whose professional world overlaps with Kendall's in complementary ways. The skeptical contingent, however, points to the pattern. Every Kendall-Jenner relationship generates the same initial burst of excitement, the same "this one's different" energy, followed by the same gradual fade into on-again, off-again territory, and eventually, the same quiet ending. Whether it was Harry Styles or Devin Booker or Bad Bunny, the arc has been remarkably consistent. And for those who have watched that arc repeat enough times, the Jacob Elordi chapter is less a fresh beginning than the latest iteration of a familiar cycle. The truth, as it so often does, likely lies somewhere between the poles. It is possible for this relationship to be both different in meaningful ways and susceptible to the same pressures that have undermined every previous one. The shared commitment to privacy is genuinely distinctive. The mutual respect between two people who understand each other's professional struggles is genuinely distinctive. But the fundamental challenges, public scrutiny, conflicting schedules, the weight of expectations have not changed simply because the man sitting across the table is an Australian actor rather than an American athlete. We return, finally, to the question embedded in the title of this story: Kendall Jenner breaking her silence on her relationship with Jacob Elordi. And the answer to that question requires understanding what silence means in the context of someone who has made silence her entire romantic strategy. Kendall has not given an interview about Jacob. She has not posted a photo with him. She has not issued a statement through a publicist. She has not liked a revealing post on social media. However, neither Jacob nor Kendall has spoken out to confirm or deny the rumors. But she has done something that by her standards constitutes a deafening statement. She has continued to appear in public with him. From the Vanity Fair party to Coachella to Montecito to Hawaii, Kendall has repeatedly placed herself in situations where she would be seen with Jacob Elordi. She is not hidden. She has not stopped going places with him because the rumors got loud. She has not altered her behavior in response to the speculation. In Kendall's world, that is a form of confirmation, not an explicit one, but a confirmation nonetheless. But while Kendall has lived her life in the spotlight on first keeping up with the Kardashians and then the Kardashians, and with a modeling career to boot, she's always tended to keep the details of her private life to herself, which is why it was unusual when she recently shared some rare insight into whether she envisions her future, including children. "I want to have some, but not right away," the 30-year-old told Vogue France in an interview published Feb 24. "I want to make sure I can dedicate a lot of time to them, and for now, I'm still too busy." As for her more immediate future, she just wants to keep 2026 fun. "The most important thing will be to stay true to myself and continue having a good time." That Vogue France interview, published just weeks after reports say she and Jacob began dating, is as close to a public statement about her romantic philosophy as we are likely to get. The desire to have a good time in 2026 aligns perfectly with the keeping things casual narrative that insiders have been pushing It also aligns with the idea of a woman who has spent years in serious, demanding, often frustrating relationships, deciding that what she wants right now is not another exhausting commitment, but something lighter, something enjoyable without being suffocating. If Jacob Elordi represents a good time in the most elevated sense of that phrase, then his presence in her life makes complete strategic and emotional sense. But there is a counter-argument to the "it's just fun" theory, and the counter-argument is Hawaii. You do not fly to Hawaii with someone for a multi-day vacation, stay at a luxury resort, have breakfast at farm cafes, shop for wine, and lounge on private beaches. If you are simply having a good time, those are the behaviors of someone who is investing. Investing time, investing energy, investing in shared experiences that create memories and deepen bonds. The situationship theory can explain Coachella. It can explain a dinner or two in LA. It cannot adequately explain Hawaii. And the TMZ beach photo, the one that started this entire conversation, is the most compelling piece of evidence that whatever Kendall and Jacob are doing together has transcended the casual. The setup looked far more intimate than your typical celebrity beach scene. A surfboard-style table sat in front of them while they relaxed oceanside, and there didn't appear to be anyone else around, as the pair enjoyed the quiet tropical setting together. Two people alone on a beach with no entourage, no friends, no cameras except the distant paparazzi lens that captured the moment. That is not a hookup on a weeknight. That is a relationship, whether or not either party is willing to use the word. The internet's desire for Kendall to say something reflects a broader cultural expectation that celebrities owe us information about their personal lives. We have become so accustomed to the Kardashian-Jenner model of strategic oversharing, the Instagram reveals, the reality show confessionals, the carefully timed magazine interviews, that when one member of the family refuses to participate in the cycle, it creates a vacuum that the public finds almost unbearable. We want the confirmation, we want the statement, we want the Instagram official moment. And Kendall's refusal to give us those things is simultaneously frustrating and, if we're being honest, kind of admirable. She is drawing a boundary, and the boundary is clear. You can photograph me, you can speculate about me, but you cannot make me participate in the speculation. Every person she has dated has been documented by the tabloid machinery without her cooperation. The documentation happens whether she engages with it or not, and by refusing to engage, she retains the one thing that public figures struggle most to hold on to, the feeling that some part of your life is still yours. Jacob appears to share this commitment at an equally deep level. Despite the attention, both Jenner and Elordi are known for keeping their personal lives out of the spotlight. Jenner has previously shared that she prefers to keep relationships private, calling them very special and very sacred, and noting that going public can make things messier. When two people who are both committed to privacy find each other, the resulting relationship exists in a kind of quiet that the world around them refuses to respect. The irony is that the very thing making their connection work, the mutual agreement to not feed the machine, is what makes the machine hungrier for information about them. So what does the future hold for Kendall Jenner and Jacob Elordi? The honest answer is that nobody knows, including, quite possibly, Kendall and Jacob themselves. They are reportedly seeing what happens without putting any pressure on the relationship. That phrase, seeing what happens, is the verbal equivalent of a shrug. It communicates an openness to possibility without committing to a direction. It is the phrase of two people who have both been through enough to know that predicting the future of a relationship is a fool's errand. The double date with Kylie and Timothée Chalamet in LA suggests that whatever is happening between Kendall and Jacob has been integrated into the broader Jenner social ecosystem. When you bring someone around your sister and her boyfriend, you're making a statement about where that person fits in your life. It may not be an Instagram post, but it is an invitation into the inner circle. And for Kendall Jenner, that invitation is worth more than any public declaration. For now, the two appear content to enjoy the fun and low-pressure nature of their new connection. And perhaps that contentment is the real story here. Not the drama of will they or won't they, not the analysis of body language in paparazzi photos, not the parsing of insider quotes for hidden meanings. Perhaps the story is simply two people who have found something that feels good and are choosing, for as long as it lasts, to enjoy it, without letting the world's expectations shape it into something it isn't ready to be. The Devin Booker exchange from earlier in 2026 adds one final fascinating footnote. Under an ad Kendall did for Fanatics, in which she bet the Patriots would beat the Seahawks, Devin commented, "I bet $1 million the Seahawks get that ring before you do," alongside a blushing emoji. And when Kendall replied, poking fun at the Phoenix Suns player's recent sprain by asking how his ankle was, Devin replied, "Come, rub it." The flirty exchange between exes took place in January 2026. Right around the time that, according to reports, Kendall and Jacob were beginning to get to know each other romantically. The coexistence of these two dynamics, the flirty ex and the new romantic interest, is a reminder that Kendall's romantic life does not operate in neat, sequential chapters. Relationships overlap. Old connections linger. New connections form before old ones have fully dissolved. It is messy in the way that real life is messy. And the reason the Kendall-Jacob story has captivated so many people is that beneath all the celebrity, all the fame, all the tabloid coverage, it is fundamentally a story about two people navigating the very human challenge of trying to figure out what they mean to each other. The fact that those two people happen to be a Kardashian-Jenner supermodel and an Oscar-nominated Australian actor adds spectacle to the story, but it does not change the underlying dynamic. They are two people who like each other, who are spending time together, and who are trying to do so on their own terms. Whether those terms will hold, whether the privacy can survive the scrutiny, whether the casualness can survive the deepening, whether the easy can survive the inevitable complications, is the cliffhanger on which this entire narrative currently rests. The Hawaii photo showed us two people who appeared completely at peace in each other's company. The coming weeks and months will show us whether that peace is durable, or whether it was simply a beautiful moment on a Hawaiian beach that we were never supposed to see. The fact that Kendall Jenner has broken her silence without actually saying a word is perhaps the most Kendall thing she has ever done. Her silence is her statement. Her refusal to confirm is, in its own way, a confirmation of the seriousness with which she takes this connection, serious enough to protect it, serious enough to refuse to reduce it to an Instagram caption or a publicist's press release. And Jacob Elordi, for his part, appears to be operating on exactly the same wavelength. Kendall Jenner isn't afraid to poke fun at her dating history. In January 2026, she starred in a Fanatics Sportsbook Super Bowl 2026 commercial that leaned into the viral internet joke that she brings bad luck to her athlete boyfriends. The willingness to laugh at her own romantic past while keeping her romantic present firmly under wraps tells you everything you need to know about where Kendall Jenner is in May 2026. She is not running from her history. She is not pretending that the parade of famous exes didn't happen. She is simply, and this is the key, refusing to let the past dictate the terms of the present. And in that refusal, there is something genuinely compelling. A woman who has been in the public eye since she was a child, who has had every relationship scrutinized and commodified, is choosing to experience something new on her own terms. A man who nearly gave up acting and went home to Brisbane is choosing to be with someone who sees him as more than a face on a magazine cover. Whatever this is, a situationship, a romance, a love story in its opening chapter, it belongs to them. And for now, that appears to be exactly how they want it. The story of Kendall Jenner and Jacob Elordi is, in the end, an unfinished one. There is no tidy resolution, no dramatic declaration, no definitive answer to the question of what they are to each other. There's only a series of moments, a conversation at a party, a kiss at a festival, a breakfast at a farm, a photo on a beach, that together form the outline of something that is still taking shape. The world wants a label. The world wants clarity. Kendall and Jacob, it seems, want none of that. They want to exist in the space between public and private, between casual and committed, between silence and declaration, for as long as that space remains theirs to occupy. And maybe that is the real story. Not the romance itself, but the insistence on defining it on their own terms. In a world that demands immediate, complete, and total transparency. In a culture where every relationship is content and every breakup is a headline, two people choosing to simply be together without performing their togetherness for an audience is, in its own quiet way, a radical act. So has Kendall Jenner broken her silence on her relationship with Jacob Elordi? In the strictest sense, no. She hasn't uttered a single word about it, but her actions have spoken in a language that doesn't require translation. The Hawaii vacation, the double date with Kylie and Timothy, the continued proximity, the refusal to hide, the refusal to explain. She has broken her silence the only way Kendall Jenner knows how, by letting the world see just enough to know that something is there, while keeping everything else locked behind a door that she has no intention of opening. And honestly, for anyone who has been watching Kendall Jenner navigate her romantic life for the past decade, that might be the loudest statement she has ever made.